Hey, what's up, soldiers? Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. It's been a while. It's probably about, 3, 4 months since we've done one of these live streams. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube here, but it doesn't seem to be going live. I do hope we're live. If you are on board, if you are logged in, would you kindly hit me a little thumbs up or something, just to let me know that you're hearing me okay and that the live stream is coming across good. Today's topic, I've been receiving quite a bit of emails and messages and direct messages and stuff like that in regards to bear with me for 1 second. There we go. I was just editing something there behind the scenes on the laptop here. One of the common questions I've been getting is, Chris, we want a Christmas menu, and two, tips on preparing food or preparing that menu on Christmas Day or during the holiday time. So I went ahead and I put everything, well, pen to paper. Boy, old school like that, pen to paper. And for some reason, I still can't see. I don't know if you guys are messaging me or not, but I can't see anything. What's going on here? Oh, here we go. Marcia, how you doing, man? It's been a minute, huh? I'm good. I'm good. Been dealing with some issues, but soon done, man. Soon done. Things looking bright. 2019 shall be grand. But anyways, the sort of tips that I have in regards to that whole Christmas menu and having an effective, well, a productive day without losing your mind. So here we go. I'll just go. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can always leave a comment down below or post a comment right now. I'll be able to see it. Hopefully, because I'm not sure what's really going on with YouTube. Everything seems to be just so slow. Brown Dwarf, greetings, Marcia. Thank you so much. Natasha, how you doing, man? I trust the family. Everybody's doing well. But my tips are as follows. Now, none of them are in any particular order. It's just notes I was going through, and I made my notes and stuff like that. So yeah, tips on that. Well, you know what? Let me give you guys some little shout outs first. We got Morby, we got Marcia, we got Rhonda, Savi, Brown Sugar, Randy. How you doing, Randy? Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Baby girl Das, Natasha. I guess my boy is probably he's probably a big man now, eh? Natasha from Trini Cooking with Natasha is on right now, guys. Oma, Maverny, Imore, George. Wow. Stacy, Island Mandy, Sharon Henry. How you doing, Sharon? Lillian, I'm doing good. How can I get your cookbook? You've got to jump over, and we're selling out. We're almost sold out, actually. You got to head over to WestIndianFoodCompany.com, and you'll find it on there. It's on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca as well. But anyways, let's get to some of the tips. I think one of the first things I would recommend doing is try not to go overboard with how many dishes you prepare on that day, because what tends to happen is you will get overwhelmed. Keep it manageable as possible. Moving on, like I said, they're in no particular order, so please bear with me. I'm going to jump back onto the hey, STL Bakes, how you doing? I'm good, man. I'm going to jump, guys, to the chat in a second. I just want to go through the list that I have here, and then we can, do a little chatting, a little pow. But number 2, consider allergies. So bear in mind who you're hosting for your dinner and consider those allergies. The last thing you want to do is have somebody end up in the hospital or have to drive somebody to the hospital or call for ambulance and stuff like that. So please ask if you're inviting people. And when my kids were younger, 2 things they had to provide for me whenever they were having friends over. And the 2 things were, 1, whoever's coming over, their parents' phone number, and 2, I needed a full list of allergies that they had. So I was aware of any sort of possible dangers I would be looking at. Moving on, three. I think the third thing you should look at is try to come up with ideas of food that you can cook in advance. So if I go way back when I was a kid on the islands, what my mom would do is like the ham and stuff like that. That would be done a day or two before, and she would just reheat it on the day of Christmas when we were having all our family and friends over. So try to get stuff like even a turkey. You can do a turkey if you're doing a turkey or a roast chicken or anything that takes long and stuff like that. You can do it in advance and heat it up the next day or whatever in the oven. You know what I mean? You don't really have to go through all that hassle on the same day. For instance, I'm having, I think, about 50 or 60 people over on Boxing Day. It's my mother's 70th birthday. And stuff like the curry goat, the curry duck, I'm doing a jerk pork loin. All that stuff is going to be done 2 days in advance. I do apologize if I'm nasal. I'm just getting over the flu. Yeah, hold me down for a little while there. But try to do stuff that you can do in advance and just heat up the day off. One of the things I like looking at too, and this is probably going to bring us down to the fourth tip now, is think future. So think when you're cooking. So try to plan dishes with the leftovers as well. Because if you spend all this time cooking on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or whatever, come Boxing Day and the days after, it should be smooth sailing for you. You should have leftovers and kind of plan meals according to that. Yeah, your family, whoever visiting, may ask for leftover. Yo, let me get a little bowl to go now. I'll tell them, Erks, hold up. These leftovers for tomorrow and the next day. I have this planned out. Organization, management of your kitchen and everything is important. Make sure you have all the ingredients that you'll need for the day off or whatever. Remember, most stores are going to be closed. I remember thinking, and because my daughters, they all cook, sometimes I go looking for something and it's gone. I think I have it there, and the little mothers and them, they don't even write down. They have a little system in this house. Supposed to have a little system. When you finish something, write it down on the list on the fridge so I can buy it. Half the time they don't remember to do that, or they just ignore me totally. So verify that you have the ingredients that is necessary. You may need a certain spice or something. You may think you have it all, but double check on that. Guys, I will jump onto I'm not ignoring your comments, the live comments that's going on there, but I will get to them shortly. So if you have something important to ask, save it for a little bit until we get to that sort of little chat time. Yeah. Make sure you have the pots and pans that you'll need. I just went and I borrowed a huge Dutchy pot from my mom because I know I'm cooking a massive duck on Boxing Day and I need bigger pots. The pots I have I can't cook for 50, 60 people, right? Yeah, good luck with that, Chris. Serving dishes. A lot of times we don't think about that. How are you going to serve this? What sort of pan, what sort of dish, whatever you're going to serve it in. Don't hate on the dollar store, man. Reach out, go check out the dollar store. You'll get some stuff in there. The thing about the dollar store is that most of them are disposable, so you can chuck that after. You don't really have to clean up. And speaking about clean up, that brings us to another tip. Wash and clean your kitchen, the dishes as you go along. You don't want a big old pile of dishes just pile up there waiting on you. It's just going to stress you out. The next tip I'm going to share with you guys as far as menu and cooking and stuff like that. Ask for help. Get help. Get your family involved. If a friend or whoever is coming over say they're going to bring a dish, it's in our nature to say, nah, man, just come through. But in reality, it's a lot of work. So if they say they're bringing something, accept it, Oh, boy. Whatever, dude. I'm reading some of the comments there. It's just too much. Try to cook stuff like, for instance, if you're using the oven, try to do 2 or 3 dishes in there at the same time. So, for instance, if I'm doing a turkey or something, I usually have the turkey in there. I usually have Brussels sprouts in there at some point or the other. I usually have my stuffing in there at the same time. So, try to cook multiple dishes in the oven if you can. It saves a lot of space. The other tip I would share is start dishes on the stovetop. So, something that takes a long time to braise, and I learned this from my aunt. She would do a curry goat. She would start it on the stove because you gotta fry the curry and do whatever else you just do to it to build that base. Then she puts it into a tray pan, a baking pan, and she sticks it in the oven. What that does, it slowly does its thing in the oven. Plus, it frees up the stovetop for cooking all these other dishes rather than waiting for it to be done and taking up prime real estate on the stovetop. So try and practice that as well. What I would do personally too is you know what your family like to eat and you know what you're good at cooking and stuff like that. So try and keep the menu according to that. Don't try to, something you've never cooked before. Oh gosh, I'm gonna break it out on Christmas Day. Next thing you know, you mess it up or whatever. You're not too comfortable with it and stuff like that, and then you're stuck without a dish because you come to the point where I ain't really feeling to serve this today, but this might be embarrassing. You know what I mean? Um, okay, this I'm gonna have to. Um, Sorry, I had to take someone off the chat here. They're trying to be idiotic. I'm not sure why. Um, where was I? This cockahole gonna frig me up now, yeah, boy. Multiple dishes at the same time, stuff in the oven, start stuff on the stove top, and then finish it in the oven. Um, and here's the thing I know we all want to cook and we want to be that star boy and that star girl in the kitchen and reap the praise and all kind of thing like that come when we family and friends eat it. But save yourself the time and the hassle. There's nothing wrong in going out and buying a few things. You're supporting local businesses. Plus, it frees up time for you as well, too. Go and buy some stuff. There's a lot of people doing excellent catering out there. Go and grab some stuff. If you're in Hamilton and you're looking for stuff, don't contact me. I don't cater. Yeah. Did you guys just see that? I don't know if you guys saw that, but right there, the little cat just went across. I have a dog caged up in the kitchen over there because there's a little cat and a dog in the house here, and those two go at it, man. But anyways, moving on. So buy what you can. I would recommend creating a budget and sticking to that budget. It's very important that you do that because next thing you know, you're going and you spend hundreds of dollars when you shouldn't really be doing that. And we've got another idiot here. Why are these? I don't understand why people feel the need to swear, man. I can cuss with the best of them, but there's not the time or place. I would also recommend taking breaks, in between cooking and stuff like that. Take that break. Go and spend some time with your family. Go outside if smoking is a thing. Go on and take a drag on your cigarette or whatever. A glass of wine. Well, for me, it's a good dark rum or a single malt scotch. It's not too it's not too much to ask. But those are the tips basically for that I have for making it an easy something on Christmas Day or whenever it is you're making your dinner and you're having family over and stuff like that. So as far as the actual menu is concerned, you're going to have to go over to CaribbeanPot.com and get those recipes on there. On the top center, you will see it would say recipe index. There's about 800 recipes on there, all of them with step-by-step pictures and guide and video and stuff like that. So you'll jump on that, man. But I do hope you guys enjoyed the tips that we went through there. Hopefully I have time sometime today to put it up as a blog post on chrisdelarosa.com. So what I'll do now is we'll jump on the messages that's coming up here. So we've got the first one I'm seeing is Terrence B. I have a question. Is it true that the thicker steak, the quicker it cooks? And do you recommend putting what? thicker what? Steak. I'm not sure what you mean, Terrence. I only grill steaks. I don't do anything else to steaks. And if I do pan fry a steak, I usually finish it off in the oven, but I baste it with a garlic and thyme butter. Lillian Taylor, do you cook black eyed peas for 2019? You know, it's a tradition and custom. Well, with many people to cook black eyed peas for the new year, and supposedly brings in the new year with good luck. But it wasn't something I grew up knowing and doing. That said, there are two black eyed peas recipe on the website at CaribbeanPot.com. Hangover cure, outside space, man. I don't know anything about hangover cures. I've never been drunk in my life, to be honest with you. I've never been drunk in my life, so I know nothing about hangover cures. I know in the Caribbean, there's two things we do. We do a fish broth, or we just stay drunk, one or the other. You talk done. I agree, Trini, cooking with Natasha. You can do the macaroni pie and shepherd pie and all that. You can prep it the day before and just stick it into the oven the day off. Um, Someone's asking for staple Caribbean things I need in my kitchen to make Caribbean themed dishes. One, Caribbean green seasoning. I always like herbs and stuff like that. Two, spices. You can't go wrong with a good curry powder. Um, Five things. That's interesting. Coconut milk. You always need coconut milk. What else is there? I like spicy, so I usually have some sort of hot pepper. So like a Scotch bonnet or a bird's eye or a habanero or something like that. And five, I would say, if I had to choose a fifth thing that you must have to do with Caribbean food, I would say a ground provision of some sort, but they go bad fast. But it's one of those things I like. You know, it really stands out. Terrence is okay. Perfect. My question was: thick steak cooks quicker than a thin steak? No, sir. Depends on how. There's no way you can cook a thicker steak faster than a thin steak. Thin always cooks faster, so be mindful of that. Yeah, Natasha, yeah, curry powder, spices, right? How about a Moruga scorpion? I planted Moruga scorpion last year. I'm not a friend of it, and I planted the one that's hotter than the Moruga scorpion, which is the Carolina Reaper, this year. Yeah, man, that thing hot just for spite. Chris, can you come Trini and cook live for us? I am gonna be in. I'm gonna butcher your name, but it's Muslimah, Sophia. I'm gonna be there for Carnival. I'll probably be there for about 3 or 4 weeks this time. I usually go for 2 weeks, but probably going for a month this year. So look for me. I'll be down there. And desserts, Terrence. Yeah, man. For the Christmas time, well, you gotta have your black/rum cake. Um, I like a good pone. My mom makes a good um how you call that, pound cake. I love pound cake as well. I'm not a huge fan of dessert, so you won't see me doing that too much. I like a nice swirl cheesecake. I've had that about 3 or 4 years ago. That thing really stood out. Um, Baby girl's asking, how was my trip with the horse ride? If you guys don't know, I was in Europe. But I was all over the place the last few months. I had to put a stop to it. I was supposed to be traveling right now, but I didn't. But I was in Europe for about 14 days, 11 days, something like that. And I went horseback riding in the mountains in Serbia, in South Serbia. Really nice place. It was excellent. Um, Weary peppers, eh? I love my Guyanese people love that thing, boy. Outlier Genetics is asking, do you think stuff like goat in the USA is priced because it's considered a specialty food? I think it's overpriced. It depends on where you go, though. If you live in a major city, you will pay premium price because nobody ain't growing and raising goat in the heart of New York. You know what I mean? But if you go in Middle America where people have farms and stuff like that, you can goat relatively cheap, man. Even right here in Ontario. If I go in Toronto, I pay a good price for it. If I go to the farms and stuff like that, it's relatively cheaper. I don't think it's so much of a specialty thing. It's just that it's not as easy to get. Just let's say that. Um, Terrence is going to Paris. I did Paris for 9 hours, so I didn't really. We ate at a Caribbean restaurant. I'm probably the only person who's ever gone to Paris and had curry goat and rice in Paris. Everybody else goes for different things, but um, yeah, definitely. I can't. I'm sorry, I don't know any places I can recommend as far as dining out in Paris, but the food, yo, man, from what I saw, the cafes and that just chill attitude they have there, drinking wine and lime, love it. Island Mandy, you always got to, yes, you got to have that Bajan sweetbread. Um, I don't know if you guys know, but the past few years I've been in Barbados about 5 or 6 times, and I wake up every morning and I have my coffee with a piece of that Bajan sweetbread. Love it too bad. Yeah, man, there are, well, not goat farms. Got a question if do you think goat farms are common in the USA? Um, they're not common goat farm per se, but there are farms with goats on there. It might be a dairy farm, but there are goats on there. What happened was when us immigrants started eating goat and oxtail, the price just went up. Just one of those demand kind of things, right? Um, Paris restaurant to eat at. I can't remember. If you watch the Paris video, you will. Terrence is asking which restaurant I ate at. I don't remember the name, the specific name of it, but if you watch the video, the gallivanting video, you will see it on there. Ruth is asking for a recipe for rice. I believe I have at least 10 different rice recipes, maybe 12 on CaribbeanPot.com. So just go on there, man. I got stuff on there for you. I've got a nice festive rice my friend Chef Mark did with us last year, I believe. You may want to try that one. That one is really nice. Um, we've got Steph saying that her boyfriend is Guyanese and impressed me with the recipes I've tried. Oh, he's been impressed. Love that, man. um, we got Josie saying that it's $9.99 a pound for oxtail in the USA, I think. It's no cheaper here in Canada. I've seen it as high as $14.95 a pound. I usually get it when it's around $6 a pound. Now remember, if you can't afford or you can't get oxtails, you can always use turkey necks. You get the same sort of, well, not the same flavor, but the same sort of, you can do the same sort of recipes with turkey necks as you would with oxtail. Jabari, how you doing, man? All world cuisine. I'm good, man. I'm good. The texture will be a bit more like chicken, to be honest with you, with the sort of stringy texture of poultry. Tanika, how you doing? Good menu for work on Christmas Day. Like a group of 5. I guess you joined in a little bit late, but I keep telling people when you guys want a menu, you really got to go and play around on CaribbeanPot.com. That's where all the recipes are. I don't know people's specific taste and stuff like that, what they like, what they don't like, if it's going to be vegan, it's going to be gluten-free and stuff like that. But if you go on there, you can play with that, man. But if you want a nice one-pot dish, real nice. You may want to do like a chicken or a beef or vegan, vegetarian pilau. You can't go wrong, man. You got that meat. You got all kind of nice vegetables in there. You got the rice in there. You simmer that down with coconut milk. Yeah, you're impressing real people with that, you know. Debs from Saint Martin. Saint Martin, one of my favorite places, yes. I have a recipe for the Jamaican festival on CaribbeanPot.com. You may want to give that one a try. Now, did I use cornmeal in that one? I can't remember. Yeah, so Steph, you may want to try the one I have on CaribbeanPot.com or hit me an email if you've already tried that and it wasn't successful. Hit me an email at Chris at CaribbeanPot.com, and I'll try my best to sort you out, okay? We've got Breaker 9624. Hey, Chris, do you use Golden Ray? I was a huge fan of Golden Ray until I got smart. And to be honest with you, I don't use it anymore. That stuff is not good for your heart. I don't know if they've changed things around. And there was a reason why you couldn't import it into Canada for the longest while. It's because the Food and Drug people, they deemed it unhealthy. So I'm really trying to play around with that. Plus, I'm cutting back on the amount of salt that I eat, and that is considered a salt butter, right? Golden Ray. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of all the Maggie products either. So maybe that's why I'm not getting any sponsorship deals from them. Kicks, man. Ah, yeah. Can I use canned pigeon peas to make curry pigeon peas? Most definitely, Sonia. I've done it with great success. And I'm on in the cold there for a long time now. And I ain't got no pigeon peas tree in my backyard. So whenever I have my little craving, is either I use the canned stuff, or if you go to the Asian markets, they usually have a sort of an East Indian section there. And in that section in the fridge, you can find the shell peas frozen. If you buy the one like that, what I recommend doing is boiling it 2 times in water. You put it in the water, bring it up to a boil, let it boil for about 10 minutes. You drain that, and you do it again. But in the second time, you want to boil it for about 20 minutes to half an hour, because it has a bit of a, I don't know if it's during the freezing process or what, but it has a sort of an aftertaste you get. If you don't boil it after you make your curry peas or stew peas or whatever, you will taste that sort of funky taste that I'm talking about. But it's a good option though. So yeah, you can use the canned stuff. Wendy, I wish I could do the whole plant-based thing, but it's tough for me. I love meat, man. I just do. Uh, Joycey, I most appreciate your support, man, and thanks for giving the recipes a try. Listen, guys, we're up to 27 minutes now. I'm trying to cut this off in half an hour, so we've got 3 more minutes. If you got a question or something you'd like to ask, feel free to punch it in right now. I've got a ton of stuff to do. I'm prepping for, I don't know if you guys heard me earlier, if you're just tuning in or whatever, but I have a huge gathering on Boxing Day. It's my mother's 70th wedding. Wedding. I wanted my dad knows she's married for 70 years, boy. My mother's 70th birthday. Lillian, your coconut rice is always gummy. Change the coconut milk you're using, or maybe you're stirring it. Try not to stir it too much. When you put it in there, just let it do its thing, let it cook down, turn it off, put a lid on it, and let it remain for about 10-15 minutes. Then fluff it with a fork. I'm guessing you're using one of those white rice, probably like a white rice, a basmati or jasmine or something. Those ones can be a bit more tricky to cook. I find that the parboiled brown long grain rice tends to be easier. Thank you, Steph. One in a million. That is an excellent question. I've made it a few times, and I always tend to reach for the Promosa brand. They're pretty easy to find. I really don't have an answer for you because I haven't really used different brands, unfortunately. If anyone has a brand of cornmeal that they like using, um, please share with us. We've got one in a million asking um, to get their pastel consistency. One in a million asking about the cornmeal to get good consistency for the pastel. I agree, Wendy. I totally agree. Wendy's, we were still talking about going on a plant-based diet and how it affects your weight and everything else, which is true. Yo, Caribbean, do you ever use coffee in your dishes? I use coffee in two things. When I'm making chili, and I do a coffee rubbed steak. It is awesome. Terrence is asking if I've ever thought about becoming a restaurant owner. I've had offers from, and I've said this before, from Dubai, from Japan, from Korea, most recently LA. Am I going to do something? Yes, I am. It's coming very soon. Stay tuned. Chris, habaneros and Scotch bonnet pepper is the same. The answer to that is a definite no. Scotch bonnet and habaneros are totally different. The habaneros tend to have a more of a fruity taste and less hot. I love my Scotch bonnet, but I totally reach for habanero whenever I can as well because I love that sort of fruitiness of it with the gentle heat. It's a good heat. Um, oh, here we go. We've got Island Mandy is saying to try the Indian head or Indian chief cornmeal. It's supposed to be good. Vegetable oil, corn oil, or canola. I am a huge fan of olive oil. I know you didn't ask that. I'm also a huge fan of coconut oil. And when I do go other, I usually use a vegetable oil. I'm not a huge fan of corn oil nor canola because I don't like the smell that I got. I have a very tricky nose and I pick up smell of everything. It gets me into trouble though. Wow, habaneros in your coleslaw. Look at you. I'm going to have to give that one a try, man. Well, anyways, friends, we're down to the half hour mark. I said I was going to try and jump off after half an hour. It was great reconnecting with you guys again. I know it's been about 3 months. I'm going to try to jump on here more often. Try and hold me to that. So if you find that I'm not on here too often, hit me an email or something or a little, yo, Chris, what's going on? We need you back on the on the live chat. Anyways, friends, have a great holiday season. Wish me luck with this dinner party. Well, fact that I'm hosting a whole bunch of greedy relatives coming over. Thirsty too. Whoosh, I have to go and spend a ton of money at the liquor store. Small thing, man. Anyways, friends, have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of the week. If you're down in the US, look for me over the weekend. I'll be down there doing a thing or two. But yeah, take it easy, man.